Welcome to Calculus Conquer, the definition of the derivative, example 3. Computing the derivative of f of x equals the square root of x. Let f of x equal the square root of x. Compute its derivative using the limit definition of the derivative. We have our function f of x equals the square root of x, and the limit definition of the derivative, which is f prime of x, or the derivative of f of x, is equal to the limit of f of x plus h minus f of x all over h as h approaches 0. With our function square root of x, we substitute in x plus h for x, and we have the limit of the square root of x plus h minus the square root of x all over h as h approaches 0. Whenever working with radicals, we need to conjugate in order to simplify those radicals and actually get rid of the radicals through the beauty of conjugation. So the conjugate of the square root of x plus h minus the square root of x is the square root of x plus h plus the square root of x. We put that over itself, and this again is another example of a fancy form of 1 which will transform the function, which I call shape-shifting. It shifts the shape of the function so that we can work with it. And indeed, the numerator is really a minus b times a plus b, which of course is a squared minus b squared. And when you square a square root, it goes away. So we have in the numerator of our limit x plus h minus x. And in the denominator, we have h times the square root of x plus h plus the square root of x. The x's on top go away. They cancel each other out. And we're left with h in the numerator, and we're also left with h in the denominator. And those reduce to 1. When I say they cancel each other out, they reduce to 1. And we're left with the limit of 1 over the square root of x plus h plus the square root of x as h approaches 0. It is at this point that we can put in 0 for h, and we have the square root of x plus 0 over the square root of x. Of course, that is 1 over 2 root x. So with our function f of x equals the square root of x, its derivative is 1 over 2 square root of x. Picking a point to look at what this looks like, to see what this looks like. Once again, pick the point 1. We can pick any point we want, but we love to be simple in these matters. And f of 1 is equal to the square root of 1, which is 1. So when x equals 1, y equals 1. And when x equals 1, its derivative equals 1/2. At the point 1, 1, the slope of the tangent line is 1/2. Just always remembering what the derivative means. It is the slope of the tangent line at any point along the function, or the graph of the function. Taking a look at the graph of the function, on the left-hand side we have the graph of f of x equals the square root of x, and on the right we have also its tangent line at the point x equals 1, and the slope of that tangent line, if you look at that, is indeed 1/2. Thank you very much.